On WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. It's time now for one of our interviews presented by the law firm of Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. And our interview is also being streamed live on our Facebook page. So if you're there right now, you see Janie McKirgan, president of the Jimmy Stewart Museum here in Indiana. Nice to have you over, neighbor.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Josh. I appreciate it.
I'm glad to have you over. So let's talk about this. First off, this weekend, it's traditionally the big weekend for the Jimmy Stewart Museum because this is Jimmy's birthday weekend.
And it's official, well, Jimmy Stewart Day. Representative Struzzi put together a proclamation that's actually not going to be voted on until Monday, but Saturday is Jimmy Stewart Day, so we're just going with it early.
Okay, that sounds fine, but that's really good, a proclamation to celebrate one of Pennsylvania's favorite sons.
Absolutely.
And, of course, with the career that he's had in the philanthropy efforts and, of course, the service to our country in the Air Force or the Army Air Corps, depending on what time in history you go by. But still, I mean, a lot going on. I mean, I remember actually when the ribbon cutting was being held. It was in May. It was around Jimmy Stewart's birthday. I remember that. So this is also the birthday for the museum. How many years now for the museum?
Oh boy, it was 95.
Yeah.
So we're over.
You're getting close to 30 years old.
Yeah,
here.
yeah, because we 25th. We celebrated 25th when we were shut down for COVID. So.
Yeah. 28.
But we have a lot going. This is really exciting. We're starting a new tradition to have new exciting exhibits debut on his birthday. And this year is no exception. We found out that Jimmy Stewart's sister, Mary, was a very accomplished artist, an award-winning artist. And so I reached out to one of her sons, Ethan, on Facebook, who I was friends with, and said, do you have a big collection of her work, and would you be interested in exhibiting at the museum? And they jumped at the chance to shine the spotlight on their mom, who is a homegrown Indiana native as well, and very talented. So we have sketches, drawings, cartoons, World War II posters that she won awards on, paintings, portraits. It's an incredible body of work, and it's all woven through stories and little scene pictures that they scanned from family photo albums that you'll see.
I was taking a look at the news release for this, which includes a couple of samples of her artwork. It's amazing the talent that she does have. I'm just taking a look at it right now. One of them it looks like a dancing class, and the other is a young soldier.
Well, the cartoon is actually from Charm Magazine, and during World War II, Charm Magazine, which eventually became Glamour Magazine, approached her to do a regular cartoon representing a working woman. Because all the men were overworking or fighting in World War II, and they wanted to make it attractive for women to be in the workforce. So it was a regular cartoon every month in the magazine, and the character's name's Susie. So we have a lot of original sketches of that cartoon. As well as she did World War II posters, kind of anti-Axis posters that went around and raised money for war bonds, and we have that's what that little soldier is.
Okay, so that's definitely one from the war effort.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people were really doing those types of cartoons or posters back in the day. Another famous name that came to mind, and this is just because of the fact I had this sitting around in my head, rattling around in my head. There was a guy named Theodore Geisel who did a lot of political cartoons during the World War II. But, of course, everybody knows him as Dr. Seuss these days. Yeah,
absolutely.
So she was in good company, if you think about it.
She was in great company. And so we actually got – there's going to be 19 members of the Stewart family in town for this.
Wow.
Which is the most we've ever had as relatives. Her 4 sons are coming, Ethan, David, Jason, Jim, Perry, and then Jimmy Stewart's other sister, Virginia, her daughter, Sandy's coming. So Jimmy Stewart's 4 nephews and niece and their families will be in town for this.
That's got to be big. Is this going to be their first time in Indiana to see the museum?
No, a couple of them came when it was Jimmy Stewart's 100th birthday celebration at the museum, which was before my time. So they've seen the museum earlier, but haven't seen the new edition of the museum since we've redone it. And 2 of them tomorrow on Saturday, Jim and Jason, are going to be in the theater from noon to 1, and they're going to be recalling stories about growing up with their mom and Uncle Jim. And I spent time with them when they dropped off the artwork on Tuesday. And they're funny and delightful. And you won't want to miss these stories that they're telling. They're great.
So you have the artwork now. You got it Tuesday, and you're getting it ready to be unveiled Saturday. Mm-hmm. That's a quick turnaround to get everything organized and planned in place.
It's all organized now. David is a graphic artist, and he designed Decade, the artwork in Decades, and there's posters that he also designed that has stories behind the Indiana years and the war years, and so each one is kind of coordinated, but then they gave me more than I need, so now I have to pick and hang tonight, which is going to be a really hard chore because it's all beautiful.
Now, this is going to be in where they would normally hold the temporary exhibits then?
Yes, in our rotating exhibits in our hallways, kind of around in between Jimmy Stewart's personal life and his Hollywood career. That's where we switch up things like where we had Grace Kelly's exhibit and what have you.
Okay, so we've got a good understanding of where that's going to be. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be, how long is this going to run?
It's going to be up through the end of August, so don't miss it. It's really amazing stuff. We're also going to have free Harvey cookies for anybody who shows up on Saturday while supplies last. And we're also going to have stickers that say, always remember, be nice to people in honor of Jimmy Stewart Day.
His famous quote to his daughters back before they went to college. And I would assume because you have the Harvey cookies, that Harvey is the movie this
certainly is the matinee. It's my personal favorite, even though I love It's a Wonderful Life. I don't want to hear it, but it's a great film, and we thought it was appropriate to show. And in fact, if you come at noon tomorrow, I've heard Jason does a pretty mean Elwood P. Dowd impression, and he might break that out while we're in the theater. So yeah,
let's hope so. So again, this exhibit is going to go on through August. Obviously, a lot of improvements have been made to the museum. It's not just a new coat of paint and rearranging the exhibits. You've been hard at work, and I know that the new screen has been serving you very well, the new theater system, I should say.
Absolutely. Surround sound speakers now for the first time, a new digital laser projector, a new screen. So it really makes a difference. It's really a great system. I thank Frank Vigiano for hooking us up with all the donors that did that for us. So that's great, other than just reorganizing it. The brothers that did see the museum before said, do you have more space? And we said, no. I said, actually, we have more things on display, but it's spread out a little bit. It's reorganized. Yeah. So they really loved the new look of the museum and was really excited.
That's good to hear. It's good to get an approval like that from the family.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Mary Stewart, funny, has a Pittsburgh connection. Oh. She actually went to Carnegie Tech for art school, which is now Carnegie Mellon. I was
going to say, that's Carnegie Mellon.
And she chose that over Vassar.
Whoa.
Yeah,
because Vassar is well known throughout the land as one of the premier girls' colleges back in the day.
Right.
So picking Carnegie CMU essentially over Vassar.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of a fun Pittsburgh connection as well. So I really think that people are going to get a lot out of this. Memory Lane Media put together, they scan a lot of photos from their grandmother's photo album, and they put together a slideshow on a disc that will be running on a TV in the lobby.
Nice.
Which is really nice. So that's going to be there as well. And some of the pictures I have never seen before that they brought. And we have a lot of pictures of Jimmy Stewart, and this is fun to see some things I haven't seen before.
We're just about out of time. We have a couple of minutes left. So we have this new temporary exhibit. What's down the road for the museum after this weekend?
Well, we're entertaining a couple of ideas for our next exhibit. And I can't give anything up because nothing's firm. But then we'll get into It's a Wonderful Life session and all that comes with that, which is fun. So I'll be back to talk about that. But I would be remiss to not thank our gallery sponsors, the Rischini Group, S&T Bank, First Commonwealth Bank, Infirst Bank, and Rosebud Mining Company.
All right. Now, so you said your favorite Jimmy Stewart movie outside It's a Wonderful Life was Harvey.
Yes.
I'm gonna counter.
Okay.
Rear Window.
Oh, okay.
Which I think deserves to be seen on that big screen over there.
Absolutely. All the Hitchcocks are going to be played during October, so come by, stop by.
All right. And if anybody wants to find out more about the museum, where can they go?
They can go to www.jimmy.org. That's our website, or they can call the museum at 724-349-6112.
All right. Janie McKirgan, thank you very much for joining us here on Indiana in the Morning. Well, I hope all the festivities go well for you tomorrow, and I hope that this rotating exhibit of another side of Jimmy's family is a great success. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Josh.
Janie McKirgan, president of the Jimmy Stewart Museum, joining us this morning here on Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. And our interviews, as always, presented by Marcus & Mack, voted Best Personal Injury Law Firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. It's 8:57 at Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. Our next hour is going to be a busy one. We'll be talking with our friends over at Yarnick's Farm Market, and that will be at around 9:10. Around 9:20, we'll be talking with Jim over at PA Career Link. And we'll talk with John Moses of the Altoona Curve and the bottom half of the 9 o'clock hour. So this is going to continue to be a very busy morning, a very busy Friday here on Indiana in the Morning. I'm in while Todd's out taking care of some business, but he will try to be back here before the show runs out. So we'll see what happens there. Live radio, you got to love it, folks. Jake and I will be back with a check of news and sports at the top of the hour after a check of national news headlines from Fox News. So be sure to stay with us. This is Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank on WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com.
This restaurant is packed today. May I sit here?
Of course. I see In First Bank on your shirt. Do you